Joining me now is Michael Leiter, NBC News national security analyst and a former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, and before that, Chief of Staff at the Department of National Intelligence. Mr. Leiter, welcome back.
Good to be here, Chuck.
So let's address this issue of the accusation of the president supposedly making a personal plea to Dan Coats at DNI, Mike Rogers at NSA, to definitively say there was no evidence of collusion. What did you make of Director Coats not addressing the issue at all, other than saying, I'm going to keep it private?
Well, I think Director Coats, someone who I have a great deal of respect for, did exactly what a Director of National Intelligence should do, which was, thanks very much, take notes, stay internal, and make sure that he is still focused on being the Director of National Intelligence and not issuing statements which fundamentally are at odds with what the intelligence communities have thus far found.
Let me play devil's advocate here. Obviously, the president is getting chastised by many professionals in the intelligence community, many Democrats, some Republicans, who say, hey, this is inappropriate behavior, because he's getting criticized because the assumption is he's guilty, or that there's some guilt there. What about from his point of view? If he believes he's innocent, or he tells us he's innocent, and if he believes he's this innocent, and he feels that it's a witch hunt, why wouldn't he make those phone calls, and why wouldn't that be appropriate?
Well, we know that the president has no problem saying that himself.
Right,
He's said that over and over.
But if you truly believe this, why wouldn't he act this way?
It's really clear. And honestly, if he wants to call up his Director of Homeland Security or his Secretary of State or anyone like that and say, hey, we agree with the president, that's just fine. But the line has to be drawn really in two places. The most sensitive one is the law enforcement people who are doing the investigation. And that is one that can't be violated. You can't go and call the investigators and say, let me tell you what you need to say and what you need to find. We know that's a problem. But the second one, a little bit farther away, equally problematic, is talking to the rest of the intelligence community and saying, hey, you have anything else in that intelligence bucket? And even if you don't really, I need you to get out there and talk about why I'm not guilty. And the intelligence community is going to say, or what they should say, what Dan Coats, I think, did say was, no, we're the referee, we see the facts, we call the facts. We're not political partisans to defend your presidency. We respect you, we work for you, but that's not our role.
So walk me through, I think there's a lot of viewers who probably sit there and are more cynical than even those of us in Washington who say, please, presidents are always looking to find intelligence to back up their beliefs. George W. Bush did it with Iraq. Barack Obama did it with Iran, trying to calm down the Iran worries. How prevalent is it? Walk me through this process.
That skepticism is reasonable to have. I can only tell you from my experience, first for President George W. Bush and then President Barack Obama, there were policies, and we knew they had policies and they wanted to pursue things. But for both those presidents, when we showed up and said, Mr. President, these are the facts we see, this is our assessment of the situation, here you go. I never had a president. I never had anyone on their staff say, you know, Mike, we don't think those are the facts. You can disagree with the assessment.
Well, what about, hey, Mike, can't you keep finding intelligence that backs this up?
They can tell us to go back and look and look and look, and we would do that. But the idea of shaping those facts, once we called them and said, this is what we
So there was a line between keep looking.
Keep looking is fine.
Versus shaping.
But once we said what it was, they didn't push back. And even on Iraq, as you know, I worked on the commission that investigated the WMD in Iraq. Right. That was a bipartisan commission, and ultimately it found no. The president didn't try to shape the intelligence.
It really was bad intelligence.
It was just bad.
Yeah.
And it supported a political outcome. But in my experience, the idea of a president or the National Security Council calling and saying, there ought to be different facts, we want to know those facts, didn't see it.
If you were a political actor in this town, political analyst in this town, and they said to you, hey, Mike Leiter, this looks like the intel community and Donald Trump indeed are at war, what would you say to that?
Well, I said last week in the Washington Post that it may not be a war, but it's a series of skirmishes right now. There's a level of tension between these two parts of the government, our president and the intelligence community that is there to support him, and combined with that, the law enforcement, which is really problematic and bad for the country. And it's one of the reasons we see all these leaks.
Mike Leiter, NBC National Security Analyst, former head of the Counterterrorism Center. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.